Howdy there, folks. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome on in. You ain't missed much, I promise you that. We're actually going to be starting with a little bit of housekeeping. That is to say, I kind of forgot for the last couple of sessions to be giving my wonderful posse some XP. So we're going to start off with that, and if they want, we might do a little bit of character growth here since we're getting close to the end of the day in game. Before that, though, I would like to give everyone a chance to introduce themselves. So, starting at the top here alphabetically, we have EpitomeOAwkward. Can you introduce yourself and your character?
Hey, I'm Epitome. I'm awkward. I play Ezra King, the doubting mad scientist. Uh, Normally I put in little disclaimers like get your flu shot, this and that. Wear sunscreen. Summer's coming out and skin cancer is no joke. Wear sunscreen, please.
Very true. That's how my grandmama Bun got house ridden for most of her later years. Anyhow, next we have our wonderful Hemlock as Parrot.
You
Go
think
ahead.
I'm wonderful? What the fuck,
Of
man?
course, I think you're all wonderful. I'm very gay for everyone that I am friends with. It's part of the package deal.
Just twirls hair. Um, I'm Hemlock. I play video games badly, and I make VTuber models of all sorts. I play Parrot, a circus acrobat sniper, because why not?
If you want to get some excellent artwork, art assets, if you're looking for a live 2D model or anything along that lines, definitely check him out. They have done fantastic work. Also, recently I've gotten into carved rubber stamp making, which is very cool and brings me all the way back to my high school art class days.
Oh, it's so fucking fun. Everybody should do it. Everybody should carve things.
And last but not least, for our established regular cast members, we have Obsidia. Obsidia dear Zenobia dearest, perhaps? Certainly a fan favorite, but I'll leave it to her to introduce.
Hey everyone, I'm Obsidia. I am currently not streaming. I might start up again for Pride Month, but in the meantime, I am going on my gay self-improvement arc. I play Zenobia, everybody's favorite eccentric, uh, over-the-top goth sorceress, and she can't feel things because she has dead nerves from magic inbreeding.
She can feel things. She feels excitement.
Yeah.
Can't feel physical things.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
and joining us on this sort of a guest star appearance that may very well end up becoming a more uh, full time member of the crew. We have Tyrus as Scarlet.
No, don't go threatening the nice audience. Hi, I'm Tyrus. I do things. Sometimes they're crimes, sometimes they're gay. Sometimes they're both. I don't really do anything right now. I have a lot of life stuff going on. But I'm here. And Scarlet is the mysterious widow seeking revenge for her husband that doesn't seem completely forthcoming with the details.
Definitely not anything to read into, don't worry about it. And if you're watching this, odds are you're probably already familiar with me, but in case this is your first time here, Hi, I'm Beatrix Bunny. I'm a variety streamer that focuses on roguelikes, RPGs, tabletop and digital artwork. Sometimes I also tag in with my alternate persona, Griselda. She's a middle aged goblin cougar of an auntie, so if you're into that thing, congrats. And she focuses more on puzzle games, creative games, and plenty of very violent games. And I'll be playing everyone who is not one of these four fine folk. So, to get ourselves started here, I'm going to deal the customary fate chips out. These, for those new to the game. Oh, looks like someone's already playing some on the field.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
fine.
cashing out 3 for XP.
All right. So let's deal those. If you have over 10, please make sure to get rid of some. Tragically, as the marshal, that still applies to me, but fortunately I have plenty of high-level chips, so I'm not too broken up. For those new to the game, fate chips are the luck manipulation stat system in the game, as well as also being experience points. You want to not die in a game that's pretty easy to die in, you're going to want to make sure you have fate chips. So, if you have over 10, you've got to cash out until you have under. And if you would like, we're also going to be able, narratively, since we're going to have a night's rest soon, I think that would be enough if you would like to try to boost any of your things with some XP spending. Just let me know.
I'm not sure what I want to do yet.
Plot armor chips is absolutely right, J Daggy.
I'm still saving up to boost my strength.
I have so many bounty points from being a little indecisive baby that I think I know what I want to do.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Hemlock decision arc, let's go.
It's unprecedented.
Truly. You heard it here first, folks. So,
do I want gambling, or is it really just funny as a magical gambler that I'm horrible at gambling?
I mean, strictly speaking, you don't need it, since mechanically it doesn't do it, unless you want to, like, just as a side thing, be able to game good. I don't want to spoil too much, but I will say there is a chance that y'all might end up going over to a certain part of southern Nevada, which may or may not be progressing into a form close to its modern status of Sin City than it probably should be historically at this time.
Because it's not until like the 1950s that Vegas actually turns into Vegas, really. When the mob was trying to, work through their cash.
Without spoiling too much, basically, it got a little bit of a head start because, well, with all of the different competing railway lines, a lot of them ended up getting junctures in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's a lot of very easily upset workers, a lot of passengers coming through. You might as well just make something of it. It looks like also, unfortunately, Hemlock might be having mic issue again.
I can hear you.
No.
I've got them boosted up as high as I can. So we'll see.
I have a mechanical XP question, B.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, if I liquidate some more chips into bounty points now, I can boost my strength. Would I be allowed to have my higher strength the next day?
I would say. eh, I would say let's narratively have something over. Let's like narratively explain how this happens. And as long as it makes sense and it's something that you could have been doing this time, it's like, yeah, that seems fair.
Because I could see it as, Zenobia already doesn't feel things, so she can't really control her strength levels normally. So
Mm.
it might be the taking more conscious effort to, basically start controlling it more to generate her outputs to reflect her having a higher strength now that she can sustain over a continual period.
Quick
Sure,
question.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. How much is it to go from 1 die into a 2 die for aptitudes? Traits. For traits.
For traits, okay. Let's see.
Because I think someone else should probably get some more strength too.
Raising aptitude is a number of bounty points equal to what you're raising it to.
Yes.
No, traits. I said aptitude first by accident.
I believe, isn't it 3 times? Or is it 2 times?
I think it's 2 times because 3 times is the die type.
Let's see. Raising
Raising trait
traits.
levels. It costs double. Yeah.
Double.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright. Give me
Also,
1
Parrot,
second.
you are 3 chips over, so you'll have to liquidate some of them.
Yeah, I'm doing that. My mic got unplugged.
That would
Yeah.
explain why it's so crackly now.
I just thought you were near an open radiation source or something.
Fallout
No,
arc.
I need to figure something out really quick. The USB hub that I have my audio interface plugged into is breaking down as we
Ooh.
speak.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
no.
good.
I appreciate all of you, like, universally having your tech collapse right now.
It's the law of streaming. It only is going to happen exactly when it needs not to.
Scuff.
All right.
Yeah.
I spent 24 bounty. I have 48 strength now.
Hell yeah.
Is that still crackling?
No.
Nope.
Cool.
You're good.
I just
Zenobia.
love the mental image of you accidentally flexing too hard and you just see like this bicep explode out of your sleeve.
With I'm gradually entering my, fucking power arc, considering she already has 40-12 vigor.
Yeah.
So, she is built.
Incredible.
Must get some interesting bruises at time.
Okay. Am I allowed to bring my deafness to 2d12 from 2d12 to 4d12, which should be 14?
I believe it has to be one step
One
at a
at a
time.
time?
Yeah, so you do
Okay.
3 and then 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So,
So,
3 to 3d12, and then I want to get Filchin, upgrade Persuasion, and give myself 1 Gablin.
Oh my gosh! All right.
I like it. Now you're gonna be pickpocketing people. I like it.
I mean, that was kind of the plan, to be a little roguish, but I had too much saved up because I was so scared of using it.
Oh. All right. So let's see. Then you're boosting your deafness, you said, to 3. Let's see.
I can put it in our chat.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You definitely have been practicing. You've definitely been practicing your social skills, your sneakiness, definitely been gambling the most out of anyone here. Works for me.
All right, that is 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm the Peanut King. I'd like to get some renown.
Okay.
Nice.
Renown on the. Hold on, let me pull up the thing. The third mark for a large group. I think the people going to opening day is a pretty large group.
I would agree.
Ezra, the Peanut King of St. Louis.
Well, let's
Yes.
see. So 1 point would be like up to a size of a town. This is definitely a city, but 3 points is like a full county.
I think word would spread pretty fast.
If you want to mitigate the fact that a county is much larger, it could just be for the city, he is more famous than he would otherwise be spread over an entire county.
I'll
That's
allow
true.
this. Okay, so for those playing at home, what this means mechanically is while they are staying in St. Louis, any average person off the street can try to make a cognition challenge level 5 roll to immediately recognize Ezra as the guy who bought literally an entire stadium's worth of people boiled and roasted nuts on opening day of the Brown Stockings baseball season. If it's specifically a diehard Brown Stockings fan, then it is down to a 3. And this is not something you get to choose when it happens. This is just at any point in St. Louis now. Or I guess even just people who are a fan of the Brown Stockings.
So you're telling me they're the king of these nuts?
Yep.
I'm king of these nuts.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, unfortunately, that is legally what I am obligated to say.
You have to leverage this into a sponsorship deal now. Get D's Nuts to start, basically putting stickers on your mad science gear and get some side hustle money.
Incredible. Now I need to also figure out, okay, what was the other team at this point? Let's see. Oh gosh.
I'm just gonna Google 1870s baseball teams.
Yeah, like I have the 8 charter teams listed here. I think
1870 in baseball.
you know what? I bet they went down along the same train lines as they were thawing out. The Brown Stockings were facing the Chicago White Stockings.
The Cincinnati Red Stockings.
Also, here's a fun little game to play. There is a team called the Boston Red Stockings that existed in 1876 that still exists today without any of our players spoiling it. Does anyone want to guess what team the Boston Red Stockings are today?
Is
Competitive burlesque dancers?
That's right, chat. The Atlanta Braves.
I love it. That's a factoid I needed today.
Like, how do they get there?
Well, they rebranded, and then Boston was like, yeah, but like red and Sox is our thing. So we got to make a new team that also is Red Sox, but doesn't have the lineage of being the Red Sox.
Valor stealing. Oh,
Valor stealing Red Sox.
So
Stolen baseball valor.
So I will say, Renown will come in at challenge rating 5 for anyone who is a resident of St. Louis right now. Challenge rating 3, challenge rating 5 for that. Let's also throw in anyone who's a diehard fan of the National League baseball teams. since I imagine, what else are they going to gossip about, really? And then it's challenge rating 3 for anyone who's a direct fan or a member of the team, we'll say even, of the St. Louis Brown Stockings or the Chicago White Stockings. Come on.
Errant thoughts. There's 3 truly American sports: American football, baseball, and basketball, because they were all invented in America.
I thought basketball was Canadian.
North American. Close enough.
Fair.
I know it was created at a YMCA. They wanted an indoor, non-contact sport.
All right. But yes. AutoMod, what did you do this time? What'll you do next? The shit socks and the cum socks. God. This is why I don't usually acknowledge chat on tabletop streams.
This is content.
God. It truly.
Springfield,
this is pod
Massachusetts.
racing.
That's where it was invented.
Huh. What do you know? Alright. So. We now have the Nut King. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to give you at least a couple more adventures in St. Louis now. I was fully ready for y'all to just pull up stakes, but nope. Okay.
Who says, like, word can't spread slowly? Maybe some random ass person, like, I don't know where we end up, has a cousin, and he heard about this Nut King.
Yeah, we're gonna be deep in Texas, and we're gonna get the you're the Nut King guy.
I'm also increasing my strength from 1d8 to 2d8.
Ooh, okay. You're practicing arm wrestling, Zenobia. All of those torn tendons slowly heal back stronger, if I recall right. I think that's how weightlifting works.
And I'm going to keep my legend chip for now.
Wise?
For now.
For now.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. So, with that taken care of, let's recap. Since you have arrived in St. Louis, you have gotten in touch with a local occultist by the name of Antoinette Swan, who has clued you into an unusual little anomaly that had happened earlier that day and request for assistance looking into it. The anomaly in question was a particularly gruesome murder, the death of a man and a woman with only their young daughter the survivor. However, it occurred very early today, and yet, even well before any of the official printings of the paper were out, it somehow had found its way in an early copy to her house. Looking into it, they went to the scene of the crime, investigated a little further, asked a corpse a few questions, got in
As you
trouble
do.
for
window.
threw a kid out the window. Yes, thank you.
Again, as you do.
Got in trouble for asking a corpse a few questions. Got bailed out of being in trouble for asking a corpse a few questions by the by Reeve Phillips. There we go. I can remember. The reporter and muckraker who you were explicitly warned not to end up finding yourself indebted to. And continuing from there, let's see what we've got here. See, it looks like continuing from there, you were able to determine through speaking with Curtis Deese, the apprentice printer for the St. Louis Respondent, the paper that had printed the anomalous early edition, that he believed he had caused a urban legend, the ghost of Molly Crenshaw, to go into a wrathful, murderous response to him printing out and sharing the story with others.
Such a Karen move.
Looking further into it, it seems that he was assisted by some older apprentices at the paper, Judd Yoakum and Bennett Douglas. Going back to your base of operations for now, the Green Lane Inn, you took stock of your clues alongside a new arrival to the party, the suspicious, I'll grant you, Miss Scarlet here, who seems to be after some sort of mad scientist that may or may not be involved somehow. Then you were interrupted from your further discussions by the screaming of the inn's maid, Miss Mayo, unfortunate name, but Evelyn Mayo was screaming because she had found Owen Wellance, a man who seemingly had hung himself. Although with further investigation, it was determined that somehow his body was forced to choke himself out, but not under his own power. Continuing from there, you began looking for where the grave of the mysterious ghost could be. You ended up encountering Peyton Burroughs, the unfortunately enthusiastic undertaker, and definitely not time-traveling dropout star Grant Anthony O'Brien. You also got the advising of Lewis Pitts, who confirmed, hey, no one of this name seems to have died relatively recently. The only reported Crenshaw death was Davis Crenshaw, the guy who died 30 years ago. Further going through the city officials' records, you determined that there was a Molly Crenshaw that was very briefly reported as having died in St. Louis, but that was due to a mix-up in the hospital records where her name was submitted as recent death instead of recent birth. In fact, she is still alive and well, and I believe 6 years old now, if the math holds. Continuing from there, you were able to recover a couple of copies of the mysterious ghost story, one from Owen Welland's room, one from the grave of of Davis Crenshaw. And as you were looking into the home, I believe you were going to the home of Yoakum? Or was it?
Yeah.
Yes. To the apartment of Judd Yoakum, you found that there was a collection of shredded up, ink-stained pages with a message left by Curtis saying that he got all of the ones he could and tried to destroy them, and essentially is trying to get back in touch with the missing apprentices to see if they seemingly are in some sort of position to be able to help better with this whole ordeal. You also discovered, on several occasions, touching these pieces of paper directly was not a great idea. A couple of people felt some near-death experiences, and one person completely lost control of his body for a brief while. I'm not going to say who it was, because I don't want to shame him, but it is the only male character in the party, so it should be pretty easy to figure out. Fortunately, he was able to wrest control of himself briefly enough to vomit up what could only be described as some sort of black Icarus ectoplasm-looking slime. And that was pretty much where we ended. So, jumping right back into things. Let's start. Okay, I was not expecting you to literally be mid-vomit, but sure, you know
That's
what?
where we left off.
Fair. Fair. And Zenobia, I know you said you were scooping up a sampling of that in one of the nut bags.
Yep.
All right. I also want to point out that at no point have we tried to see if Yoakum is home. So for all we know, there is a man inside who is listening to someone projectile vomit right outside his door.
Well,
I don't think I'd have it any other way.
Our attempt to go check out it further was disrupted by somebody screaming as loud as they could in the middle of an apartment building.
Well,
So it threw a little wrench in that plan.
Oh, that's
Well-
right. There was one other thing, actually. Thank you for reminding me. I believe it was after you left the apartment building, you saw one of the evening
Yeah.
edition papers, and a certain Reese Phillips had written a story featuring all of you, sans Miss Scarlet. Apparently, you claimed to be official detectives, forensic experts, coroners on the scene of the crime. And would you look at that? They've got your photos all nice and clear and clean printed on the page.
It was just Ezra and I because Parrot at the
Parrot was
time was chasing
That's
the
true.
kid.
But that is going to create a little bit of complication, since technically that is evidence that they can prove, hey, you are not, in fact, one of those. So, from this point on until further notice, whenever you are making a roll somewhere within the city to further this investigation and it goes bust, one of the consequences can now be authorities recognize you from the paper and are very interested as to why exactly you were pretending to be crime scene investigators to an active murder case. So, you know, just don't go bust.
I feel like that's mitigatable. You know, their place was swarming with journalists anyway. They were barely making any efforts to screen them, so I think you could lie your way out of that.
Well, we'll certainly have you try if it comes to that. All right, so where would you like to go now?
Once we get away from the apartment, I would like to engage in what I've been saying of smelling this black fluid.
Are you going to save that for when you are back in the inn, or are you just going to do it right out there in the open, or how do you want to handle this? Like, you could potentially get, like, equipment to help with this as well, I'll say.
I guess we could do it at the inn.
That might be better.
Let me make a quick roll here to see if anyone recognizes the Nut King. Just in passing here. Oh, would you look at that? Yes, it looks like as you're going through the streets here, you hear someone very loudly pausing a conversation to go, wait a second. Is that Whitaker? Is that... Oh, by God, I think it is. That's the Nut King! Hey, everyone! Look! It's the Brown Stockings Nut King! And you see, like, a group of people who are milling around this bar in the early evening. They are now turning to look directly at you, Ezra. What do you do?
He is still kind of shaken from what happened
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit dazed. So he tries to. I imagine he tries to play it off as though, yep, hi, thank you, I'm gonna go on my way. Which I imagine isn't going to happen very easily.
Oh, come on in here, bud. Let's buy you a beer. Hey, yeah, come on, join us in for a beer. Yeah, come on, you can spare a beer. Yeah, come on, a beer for the Nut King. They're trying to drag you into the bar.
I think he's too dazed to resist.
Okay. What would the rest of you like to do? And
I have
I'm sure
the
you'll all
exact
thank.
meme for this.
I'm sure you'll all thank Ezra for adding this new complication to your lives.
You're welcome.
Zenobia does the
Yep.
oh no. Anyway, I'm going back to the inn.
Okay.
Did I keep an eye on them?
That's up to you. I'm sure that he can handle himself. He's obviously firmly equipped to be able to deal with any threats. How dangerous could some St. Louisians be?
Before he gets dragged, I think he's going to hand the bag to Zenobia just because he's afraid of the crowd more than he
Oh.
is Zenobia.
Oh.
He'd rather. Exactly.
This is a big character development moment.
It's not an easily done one, but the fact of the matter is, causing a scene is going to be a lot worse than whatever Zenobia is going to do for him right now.
Well,
Don't make me regret this.
I will definitely do that.
He says that out loud. Don't make me regret this.
Oh, you can trust me, my little guinea pig. Now please go have fun with your little associates.
You hear a muffled, "Have fun."
Oh no, Rose doesn't know anything about this yet.
All right.
As Zenobia walks away, she's gonna go, oh, I think this would be a lovely opportunity for us to get to know each other better. Well,
All
just
right.
for Ezra to hear.
Oh wow, I didn't know I had any ad delays yet left. Anywho. Alright, so is anyone splitting off to help Ezra, or shall we continue on with the rest of the group?
I will stay with whoever's being accosted by fans.
Yep, that's
Okay.
Ezra.
Yes,
Okay, my brain is blanking on names.
That's okay. I'm glad that she's not reacting to the have fun.
Don't worry about it.
We haven't explained to Scarlet the head thing, have we?
We have not.
Okay.
So that.
What?
Don't worry about it.
So the bag that Ezra totes around, the bowling ball bag, just said a muffled "have fun."
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
We file that under something to ask about later.
Sounds good to me.
Alright.
So is Parrot coming with me then?
Are we having mic issues again?
No reason.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
So
I don't know
you're
what's going on. Yes.
it's just, are you going with Ezra or me?
Yeah. You.
Okay.
Alright, so 2 are going back to the Green Lane Inn. The third is going to be... The third person... not person. The other 2 are going to...
This bar.
Yeah, let's see what this bar is named. Sure, let's go with that. This is the Bitter Bones Distillers. I like that.
Wait.
All right.
All right.
Yep. So, let's give you a little bit of time to get settled there. Let's start by following Parrot and Zenobia back to the inn. I think we'll start with that. So, going back on into that, making your way back to the inn, you've got a very strange, in your experience, almost certainly some form of supernatural clue here. And fortunately, we have two occultists who are also very curious. So, how would you like to go about, to whatever degree of scientific or amateurish you would like to apply, go about investigating what exactly this is?
Well, obviously, we're gonna transfer the goo into some sort of glass vessel, like, I don't know,
Well,
a
St.
glass
Louis
or
has
bowl.
a ton of brewing companies. You are easily able to just snag a used beer bottle that's been emptied.
Gotcha.
Would
And-
you
It's
take
empty.
out? Would you take out the head, or would
Well,
you?
I'm going
leave
to
it- Okay.
once we start engaging in the scientific process.
Oh, fantastic. That means I'm gonna need to open up his character sheet.
I importantly do have a private room.
That is true. That is very important.
I forgot his name. It's in my notes, but I don't want to look at them.
Ambrose.
Ambrose, that was it. Dr. Ambrose. So yeah, we'll put it into a glass vessel, and we'll gather it by room, and I'll get Dr. Ambrose, and Zenobia will very, politely take out the head and set it somewhere so it's not like directly visible when you open the door.
Ah, always wonderful to get a little bit of fresh air.
Yeah,
Now
of
then,
course, Dr. Ambrose. I thought it was the least I could do, given the certain path to enlightenment we're about to undertake.
and you're offering me such a wonderful night's diversion as well. How could I refuse?
Splendid. Now, I, of course, am a bit of a connoisseur of the more esoteric and arcane. However, I may be a bit cast into the dark when it comes to true scientific endeavors. We happen to have gathered this fluid from your erstwhile husband, and I wish to try and determine if we can perhaps gather any kind of meaning behind it.
Oh, right. Well, certainly. I'm more than happy to assist any way I can. Do we have any manner of equipment?
I'm not quite entirely sure what you would need, given the comparative cast out of the greater enlightened areas that we have found ourselves residing in. I do have this handy dandy container I was able to procure. She also had the beer bottle full of it.
All right. Let's see. I imagine if you had your meal here, there's likely some sort of utensils left over. Do we have anything? A spoon, perhaps? Could try to. We could try to begin by perhaps simply pouring it out, trying to spread it about, see what kind of physical characteristics we have working here. I must admit, I am more of a doctor of the physics and mechanical engineering fields of science, but I'm certainly more than willing to try my hand, well, to try my luck at chemistry.
Delightful. My dear Perota, you happen to be good with your fingers. Would you be willing to be the extensions of our psyches upon this experimentation process?
If you tell me what to do, I'll do it.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I just know that you are so graceful and well poised. I happen to be a bit more, shall we say, battering ram when it comes to the fine arts. And so I guess we'll get a spoon.
Okay.
When's the
And-
last time Ambrose ate?
When was the last time you fed him?
I
The
think it's
last
like a
time we
pet.
had a meal.
When was that?
Probably
a
when
while
we left.
ago. Yeah.
Should we order some food and I could feed Ambrose as we give directions to Parrot?
I think that might be a good idea.
It wouldn't hurt.
All right.
I just love the visuals of this whole scenario.
Oh, it's a wonder. It's a. I guess it's an approximation of a very, very strange girl's night.
Wait, dear, you don't have Ambrose's head on the screen.
Oh, you know, right? You are so right. Here we are. Ambrose.
There we
Oh,
Excellent.
currently he is probably going. No, let's just keep him there. It's more convenient. Can still have him turn to look at the people talking.
All right. So we'll get some food and we'll eat. We'll wash off some of the utensils and stuff, and we can have Parrot be our hands as the most deft person here.
Right?
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong. It's better than me doing it. My mutation directly limited my deafness.
All right.
I conveniently just upgraded that whole stat.
I was paying
Hey,
attention. I know.
How courteous. All right. So, let me also just quickly see how much is this meal going to cost you. I can't imagine it's too terribly much, so I'll just do this in the background while we're taking care of this. All right. So, what kind of experiment would you like to run here exactly? Like, he is suggesting you could perhaps start with trying to manipulate it, see if there's any particular physical properties that might narrow things down.
Yeah. So I guess pour a spoonful of it and put it in I don't know, a plate or a bowl or something.
All right. All right. So, it pours fairly thickly. Give me everyone in the room who's watching this can give me a cognition roll. I'll roll one for Ambrose as well, just to see what you know of the physical properties as they're coming out here.
Oof. I recommend you buying another die of that as well, Parrot.
I'm not cognizant of anything ever.
That is a bust for Parrot and a 14 for Zenobia. Don't worry. Fortunately, you are safely inside Zenobia's room. I do not think I can narratively justify the police noticing you. Your food arrives, by the by, that believe, is, if it's a cheap one, 75 cents, $1 for a lunch of quality, or sorry, a dinner of quality.
All right.
I suddenly have questions about how the head is eating.
I'm feeding it.
Yeah, that doesn't answer any of my questions, but I'm also
We
not
don't know
there to
where it
ask them.
goes. That we went over that several episodes ago. We don't know where it goes.
Mm.
Yep,
He
like
just
That's
knows he
the
has
main
to.
Excellent.
problem
Ambrose,
with the head. No one
Ambrose
knows how
is
he works.
chewing, swallowing. There is nothing coming out of the neck. Like it's kind of a little hard to really look at the neck. Like it's
Okay, I'm
like
not there to look.
your brain's seeing something, but you don't totally register what you're seeing. Like it's not bloody or messy or anything like that. It's just there,
Oh.
but not.
You can cross that bridge when I'm actually there. Sorry. Didn't mean to
okay.
interrupt the scene.
All right, so on a 14,
What did Ambrose get?
Ambrose actually got an ace on his first roll, which with the second totaled to 22.
Oh wow.
Look, he has no physical stats. He does have pretty good mental ones, though. All right.
When we made him as though he had a body, and then we took away all of his physical stats.
Makes sense.
So, I think what you notice is it's a little bit of a blend at this point. Like I would imagine Zenobia as someone who has had to work with blood magic is perhaps familiar with the general experiences of being around the other humors of the body.
Yeah, that checks out.
So I think you're able to determine that there's definitely a fair bit of stomach acid that's been mixed into it. It's got that really strong cloying smell. There's also a little bit of the thickness you'd expect from something that has a high blood content, and it feels a little bit like you have it feels a little bit like it's got kind of a little bit of a metallic tinge even beyond the blood. Like you smell it, it's coppery, but it kind of feels like there's another metal mixed in there too. I think what Ambrose picks up from the physical manipulation is that it is acidic, and part of that is from the stomach bile mixed in, but it looks like it's also kind of acidic to begin with as well. And whatever the acid material in there is, it seems like it's got a very strong level of acid in it. Like if you were to try and pour this on something, it would really eat in there. It would leave a really strong stain. All right. Let's see now. I don't suppose we have anything like any analytical tools at all.
Perota, I don't believe I have any, as it's never really been necessary in my work up to this point.
I have a basic medical bag.
I don't think
And a
Ezra
pocket
would be
knife.
carrying all of his stuff on him at all times.
Mhm.
Like his suitcase is probably back in his room.
Oh. All right. Yes. You know what? I'll go with this. Parrot. Well, I assume that you probably locked your room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parrot, would you like to break into? Would you like to break into Ezra's room?
Oh fuck yeah. 100%.
Hell yeah! You'd love to hear it.
We love our
We
robes
have
in this
his
house.
husband's permission.
Oh, of
In
course, of
theory.
course.
That is consent. I'm sure that if the police stop us, we can bring out the head to corroborate.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid I'm not particularly able to. Oh, I'm not usually trusted with keys anymore. I don't have much of a place to hold them, but it's a very low level. An interior household door lock like this. It's only a 3.
A 3!
There you go.
Zenobia
Yeah.
would chime in that, I did think that we could make you a lovely little collar to hang the keys from.
Oh, well, perhaps we'll see. Yeah, with the 3, you get your pins and picks in there, and you pop those tumblers right into place, and are able to open that wide. And inside there is a traveling science kit. Uh, Dear, would you describe what is in Ezra's kit?
Mostly engineering, like wrenches and tools and such as that. But I imagine he would still have at least some level of beakers for the more alchemical of inventions he has to interpret.
All right.
Essentially his work bag.
All right. Just give me low difficulty cognition roll. Let me see what you'll grab, or what you can easily grab here. Parrot?
Hmm?
Can you give me just a quick cognition roll just to see, like,
Sorry.
since there's a lot of weird stuff in here. All right. You can grab, let's see, you can grab yourself, there's a couple of flasks. There's, you know what? Let's give you an alembic. Love a good alembic. There's a little Bunsen burner. There's some.
Erlenmeyer flask.
Hell yeah. We got some tongs. We've got. Is there anything that he would use to assess chemicals, dear?
Yes.
What would that be?
Probably some litmus reagents.
Okay. And let's see. I'm just gonna roll for one more random science thing. A magnet. Sure, why not?
Why not?
Magnets, how do they work?
Who knows?
All right, so you take your haul back, and we've got more experiments to come, I guess. Let's see. I'm going to have him spend a white chip here so he's able to at least have a level of science chemistry for this.
He wasn't a chemist, to be fair.
Yeah, you know, he kind of remembers some stuff, probably.
Just a nerd.
Oh, also, dear, I think you disconnected.
Me? Hello?
No, from Roll20.
Oh, from Roll20.
There we are.
Okay.
All right.
That was weird.
So, Let's give him a roll and hope that it's something good. That was cocked. Okay. Yeah, I'll take an 11. That seems pretty good. Alright, so... Alright, so... I want to make sure that I have the right information here that I'm giving. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so through a montage of experimentation with the litmus paper and with carefully trying to filter it and seeing how it reacts to heat, and there's you know what, I think I kind of just gave it randomly, but I think the magnet does actually come in handy here. You're able to determine that there is an acid, a solution of tannic acid. You also detect some sulfur mixed in, and some iron. And all of those mixed together, I think that it takes him a moment to come to it, but this seems awfully similar to pen ink.
Zenobia goes, I knew it!
I'm fairly certain that my husband didn't ingest any ink. I would like to think as much anyway.
Oh, that raises an excellent point then. This perhaps corroborates the connection with the newspapers. The very printed words that were tied to this this legend of this spectral apparition.
But then, how did it get inside him?
Well, obviously through some kind of arcane tampering or possession. I can corroborate that there is at least some kind of underlying esoteric possessionary elements of the various papers the boy created it tied to his little ghost stories. I'm not necessarily sure there's a direct connection between the spirit and the ink, but at least whatever is assailing them does have connection to the, most likely, the printing press in some way, shape, or form, which would help corroborate why we received the alleged, we'll say a bit premature Daily Herald portending the death of Caroline's family.
Oh, I'm afraid I'll perhaps not be of as much use for this next section, ladies. I am a man of science, but I don't know much about examining anything for more occult means. Perhaps that's something you two might be able to divine? And I think here, let's cut over real quick to the bar.
Cut over. Good choice of words.
Alright, so...
Not king.
There is a chant that goes surprisingly long. I'm pretty sure it's probably because of the alcohol consistently lubing up the vocal cords and, making people more willing to chant. But yes, How are you doing? What are you up to, Ezra?
He is clearly uncomfortable.
No one seems to care right now.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this is a good point to do some more information gathering, and this is where Epitome is struggling a little because I'm still a little bit unsure of where our knowledge is as far as Molly Crenshaw goes. I understand that we know that she's alive, she's 6. She's not dead.
Very true.
But figuring out what exactly is possessing these. I'm not. He's a man of science. He doesn't know where to go from here. But I Epitome want to.
All right. Would you consult, perhaps, with Scarlet?
Yeah, kind of quietly.
All right. It takes a little bit, but eventually you're able to convince people to give you a little bit of room. What do you tell the rowdy crowd of fans of your work to convince them to give you and Scarlet some space?
He's addressing this very humbly. He might shoot glances at Scarlet, trying to get her to step in a little.
Hmm?
I really must be going.
Oh, come on, one more round. One more round for the Nut King!
How many rounds am I in at this point?
Roll me a d4.
Only 4?
Well,
Is there
do you
anyone
think he
playing
would-
any kind of
do you think he would
music or
willingly
anything?
go further?
Not willingly, but he also has like a very strong stomach.
Well, let's start. Okay, you
3.
are at least 3 drinks, full or partial, in at this point.
Full. I'm going to say full.
Okay, and to answer your question, Scarlet, yes, there is a piano. What self-respecting bar would have no piano, or at the very least no source of music, especially in a fine, upstanding, civilized city like St. Louis?
Nobody has ever said that about St.
I'm
Louis.
pretty sure we're not quite at the point of like something akin to a jukebox or what do they call them, the old-timey music things before they had like record players.
Is the piano out of tune? No, actually it just got serviced the other day.
What luck. Anyways,
There is a person playing it if you have any requests.
well, the plan here is to get the crowd singing a song and then dip.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Alex, are you okay?
Yeah.
I think I just ran over my wife's toe.
Oh no.
Oh no!
What? Stay in place. Stop wandering so dangerously.
I literally have no spatial awareness. I have good vehicle spatial awareness.
Yeah, you
However, I
gotta
do
start
not know where my
thinking of your
limbs are at
body
any
as a
given
vehicle.
moment. I'm pretty sure it's part of my neurodivergent sensory issues, but that's as far as I'm going to get into that. Anyways, so
Okay.
pick some kind of sing-along kind of thing. You know, a bar drinking song that everyone knows to try to get them all going. Does that make sense?
Alright. What? I don't technically need to ask this, but I as B, not as a GM, need to know what song. What are you thinking?
Are you familiar with that? I can't remember what the song is, but it's a song talking about the guy who invented beer.
I am not.
The song's like The Tale of Charlie Mops, and it's about the invention of beer. I'm not sure when that song was written, though.
Let's see. There's
Actually, hold on
as a
second.
quick search. Let's see. I don't
Called
know.
Beer, Beer, Beer.
I don't know if you are Irish enough to know that one. Let's see. We've got.
It's awfully ethnic music you're talking about.
You know what?
Mm?
He could also help because Ezra knows how to play the piano.
Oh,
It looks
fantastic!
like being created in the 1800s music hall in the British Isles.
The downside of you playing piano is that keeps you in place when you guys are
Yeah.
trying to bail.
But there is a pianee player that you could pass it back off to after you show the song. You gotta do the old bait and switch. The classic swap out a Nut King for a actual pianee player when no one's looking and everyone's singing technique. All right, Ezra. I think it would be very easy for you to convince your fans to let you play them a song. Let you play them a song.
Okay. Hold on, I'm getting a message.
You
Then
can. So what are you thinking?
I'm gonna take the I'm going to take Scarlet's lead. Whatever she decides to start, I'm going to follow along with.
All right. And what is the song?
Isn't it the beer thing? Wasn't that
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Find it.
called Beer, Beer, Beer?
I
Yeah.
thought it didn't actually matter. You were just curious as a DM.
Oh yeah, I am curious.
It's just one of those songs you might hear in a pub somewhere, and it's an easy to sing along song.
Okay, Ezra, give me a performance roll. Okay.
Hey, okay, that's fair.
All right. Now, are you being accompanied? Is anyone doing the vocals? If only there was a second per. Wonderful.
Holy shit!
29
Holy fuck!
on 3d6. Wow.
Sheesh! All right. That's a lot of explosions. Oh my gosh.
I do declare this plan probably worked.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Yeah, you get up there. You get up there at the piano and you just crack your fingers, and Scarlet, you crack your neck and your vocal
I also
cords.
didn't account for the fact that I believe I took the soothing voice edge.
Oh, that's true. So that would be even more on top of that.
But I
Ooh.
think 29 is fine.
Yeah.
31 is better, though.
Hmm. Oh gosh. Yeah. I'm not going to play the song on stream because I can't find a version that wouldn't still technically be copyrighted or whatever claimed, but look it up for yourself. Beer, Beer, Beer.
It's a very
an
catchy
ode
song.
to
I
Charlie
recommend
Mops.
the Bardtail version.
Good to know. And you are bringing the house down here. You have people throwing silver dollars up at you, and like actual paper money too up at you on stage.
Holy shit.
So now that you've got the entire bar up on their feet, stamping and drunkenly hooting and hollering along to an ode to Charlie Mops, I am going to need a sneak and roll from both of you. I will
Okay.
give you a plus. Well, let's go with a +3 with everyone distracted like this. Oh.
Oh.
You sure you want to stick with that?
I do not. I believe in the power of the white chip.
All right.
Alright, let
Let's
me...
see where. There's sneak. How do I do this +3 thing you said?
Just add 3 to it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, if it's +3, then that's a 7.
Do you trust that? It's up to you.
A good old 5 from our 1d6 stealth roll, gal.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the 7.
All right.
I rolled a 2.
Do you want to stick on a 2, or do you want to spend
It's a 5.
chips?
It's 5, just to be
Fives.
clear.
My apologies. 5.
Okay. I know if I use the red chip, I add an extra die, but then something happens
B
karmically.
gets a fate chip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean,
And-
it's up to you.
And how does the white chip work? Is it just a +1?
No, you just roll another die.
You roll another die. Okay. I think I could spend a white chip on that.
All right.
So I have d6s, so I just roll another d6.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Lol. So still a 5.
Yep. All right. So I will now roll.
I'm gonna have to spend another one. I can't accept that. Okay, I
you're
give up.
back up to. Okay. I'm just gonna roll for the crowd at large. I'm gonna say, since they are actively drunk and fairly distracted, it will be at a -3, and also reducing the die for the average person there.
Remember to drag your fate chips you spent out onto the board.
Yeah, I'm just cleaning the bed for my wife.
And that, with the -3, is going to be a 2. Yeah, you are able to seamlessly slide right off the bench there and slide the peony back in with the little tip of the bowler hat to you. And you're able to do a quick bow, maybe grab a couple of bucks off of the stage from where everyone was throwing money at the two of you, and slink off as well. Let's say...
Could just see leaving the bar, quickly counting out the money and then stuffing it away.
Hey, I mean, you're able to grab $6. That's not bad. That's pretty good money.
That's like almost 2/3 of what Ezra spent to be king.
Look, a lot of people were throwing money. It was a 29.
It was a very good saving roll.
It was.
People will remember the siren of the, what was the Bones place
The
or
Bitter
whatever?
Bones Distillery.
Yep.
Oh,
And then
gosh.
vanished forever.
All right, so you have successfully gotten out of the bar. Congratulations, you solved my social interaction puzzle. Where are you going now? What are you doing now?
I'm wondering if we should try and keep a low profile just so that this doesn't happen again. Like, part of me wonders if any of them knew more about...
Oh, you certainly could have tried.
I know, but I don't think they would be in any ability to actually talk. I wonder if a less rowdy place might be helpful.
I mean, if you want to try, you're welcome to.
Is the king going bar hopping?
What do you think, Scarlet?
You want to go asking around?
I think at least finding a calmer place that might know something, we can at least bring something back to them, instead of just me being slightly tipsy.
I will, as a fan of your characters, remind you and warn you that you will be noticed for better and for worse. And also, if you go bust on one of these rolls, the cops notice and
I
have some
understand.
questions for you as someone who was posing as a official police investigator earlier.
It was with the coroner's office. That's the lie that Reese said was the coroner's office.
Yeah,
We were cops.
I'm willing to take that risk.
I mean,
Okay.
I didn't participate in that particular lie.
Yeah, it would just be me that they notice.
Okay.
What do you think, Scarlet?
I'm just wondering what you're trying to learn, just asking around about things.
Well, we know that. Hold on. We know that a Davis Crenshaw died, not a Molly Crenshaw. And the way that I couldn't control my body for a good few moments there. Something weird is happening.
You don't say.
Excuse me for not believing, okay? You stop believing in fairy tales when you're young, and now I'm being told they're real again. What would you do? Maybe someone knows something about Davis Crenshaw, and we can at least bring that back while they're examining my puke.
So is that your plan?
That's what he's saying.
Okay, well let's try and narrow down where we should be asking. What kind of social circle was this Davis in?
Well, you know that he was. I think the only thing you really know for sure is that he died 30 years ago. So definitely older crowd, if nothing else at this point.
All right, a more established bar then.
Right, but were they like low class, upper class, worker?
They were a printer, weren't they?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think that. Yeah, that. My notes about what we know about Davis Crenshaw is very, very slim.
Yeah, because, like, ultimately like, I will say, again, as a fan, that it's not impossible, but it's going to be very difficult because A, he died 30 years ago, and B, he was buried in a very, like, off the beaten path, very low visitation style grave. Like, I don't think it was straight up a pauper's grave, but it didn't seem like it was particularly well off, judging by the not super well maintained wooden grave marker.
Okay.
So again,
It's
I'm not going to
still-
say it's impossible to get information.
It's just difficult.
Very, very difficult.
Okay, perhaps do we know what maybe part of town they lived in?
I don't believe we do.
Like I said, very, very difficult.
We also didn't ask about him really that much at all. We were asking more about Molly
But we found out Molly
Right.
is alive.
and a child.
And
Yeah.
also the gravekeeper who was a pervert and got reburied by his associate Peyton.
Hey man, I love Burroughs. Burroughs is my boy.
Fan
You know,
favorite Peyton Burroughs.
You don't realize, B, that I'm playing 5D chess here because I have befriended Burroughs. Burroughs gave me a recommendation for the coroner. The coroner's office was the one we were allegedly working for. So it's all fallen into place.
Ah, mastermind. I'm falling right into her keikaku.
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
Keikaku means plan.
Alright.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just
It's
trying
at
to think
least-
of some way to narrow the search, so we're not just kind of wandering aimlessly.
No, agreed.
Well, I will say.
I just don't want to come back empty-handed.
I'll say from the logic of it, I think you could figure out that since the records of his death have to exist, that means there are two places. Oh, sorry, that they records have to exist, and also that people had to have some way of finding out about that just in the general consciousness enough that people got confused and mixed up who's who in the scenario. So that would imply, I think it would be fairly easy to figure out that would imply one, you could potentially find records of him and what he was like, what he was up to at the hospital. And
well, the fact that there's public knowledge implies there was probably a newspaper printing at the time.
In an obituary of a newspaper, yes.
I wonder if the library would still have a copy of that. Would the library even still be open at this point? What time is it?
Oh gosh. I imagine it's evening at this point. Likely getting close to 6, if not a little past at this point. And this is still late March at this point, if I remember right. So like it's getting relatively dark still.
Well, it's worth a shot.
I mean, even if we were not able to have enough time to search, you can at least find out if the records do in fact exist.
Exactly. All right.
And if Molly's supposed to be alive, do we have any idea of where she is?
She's sick. She has nothing to do with it.
But her name got attached somehow.
Her name got attached because a birth record was accidentally written as a death record.
Yeah, it was a filing issue.
Ghost story via bureaucracy.
Okay, right. Okay, I remember this now. Okay. I guess, yeah. If we can find an obituary, might be able to figure out what they did for a living, or any family that may have survived.
Agreed.
You know, survived by their brother or whatever.
No, agreed. The library probably is the only place that would have those copies. I think. This is Vinny. This is epitome thinking.
I don't know how they'd handle it back then. And
no, exactly. Like this is epitome thinking. This is not me thinking like, oh yeah, back in those days, newspapers would be blah 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 blah. Like
All right. To make things interesting, let's say that the library is going to close relatively soon. Because also keep in mind back then, even with the electric lighting, it's not fantastic, and it's not a great idea to be having a bunch of oil lamps in rooms filled with paper.
No, agreed.
So you have a
Can we get there before they?
You have a limited amount of time by the time you're able to get there.
Okay. It's still worth a shot.
I mean, at the very least, we should be able to find out if the records exist or where they're being kept or something like that.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay. This is...
Yeah, we're off to see the librarian, the wonderful librarian of St. Louis.
Yes.
Goodness. You're still coming in this late. I suppose the thirst for knowledge pauses for no one.
That is true.
Can I help you find hope?
We are looking for newspapers from 30 years.
I was just making a quick roll. You see no glimmer of recognition in this person's eyes looking at you.
Oh, thank God.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to be closing rather soon within the hour. Well, yes, a brief look through wouldn't be objectionable. Please come in, come in.
All right.
Yeah. And Scarlet will just thank them for their kindness.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, of course. And the librarian goes back to his desk, and you are living that childhood dream of many an English major to get to spend the night in a library all by yourselves. Although it won't be the whole night. Anyhow, you have a rough idea of where you need to go for the archives, so I think let's just do this as a up and down search roll. Let's say, since you've got at least a narrow field of places to look, +1 to your results.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Search.
Nice. 13.
Okay.
+1 is 14.
14 and a 4.
He is an academic. He knows his way around libraries.
That is 2 raises.
That is quite good. So let's see. I think the sheer bulk of records, like, we're looking at a daily newspaper. Potentially there could be changes even within a day, since, not everyone dies at the same time. So you're looking at potentially potentially double 365 openings where an obituary could be. It's a little bit needle in a haystack territory. I don't think you find any exact information about it, but as you are wrapping up down here, I will say that you find one news article, actually in the section that covers legal issues, Justice Department, those sort of going-ons in the social politics of the city. It looks like there was actually something of a monopoly on the obituary game when it comes to the city's many newspapers. Just disgusting number of newspapers, really, for one city. But there was really only one paper that was able to get a deal with the medical offices to be the sole printers of obituaries. Up into around about 20 years ago, when the antitrust laws kicked in and finally broke their chokehold on the obituary market. That was the respondent.
Obituary market?
And the article makes note that even now that they have to that they no longer have the sole printing rights of the death reports of the city, that other printers have still been blocked from inquiry as to past death notices that they printed there, that they are apparently kept under lock and key, if for no other reason than just sheer business spite.
So there might be some that are under lock and key. We might not even be seeing all of them here.
Yes, so up until 20 years ago, due to some shady dealings with the medical hospital records of the city, the respondent had sole access to death records for printing obituaries.
Well, at least that limits what newspapers we have to check during the period we're looking for.
That's true.
Unfortunately, that's all you're able to gather for tonight.
It's something, at least.
Hey, who knows?
At least we're not going
Maybe it'll
back.
still be in the safe they have there.
Exactly.
Alright. So,
Let's
cutting
start heading
back,
back.
cutting back to girls' night, brackets, scientifically.
Before, let me know when we get to the door, not when we open it.
Okay, fair. Alright, so this is a little freewheeling here, but both Parrot and Zenobia, you have levels in academia occult.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what kind of tests would you like to try to conduct using occult knowledge, paraphernalia, rituals, what have you?
Do you have any pseudo, like, huckstery ideas for your stuff?
Parrot's knowledge is more like vibes. She does have a book of games now, but I don't see it being very helpful with like how she understands magic.
So, you know, Zenobia is quite the occultist by lifestyle. So, so I guess probably, you know, there aren't the equivalent of like, you know, like the tricks kind of thing that Para can do, but essentially like distilling down some of her kind of analogous blood magic spells to like try and just test reactions, I guess, to see if they affect anything or, you know, maybe shed some kind of insights. Her three potentially, I think, applicable like spells for putzing with stuff would be bulk, which is, you know, the basically the turn undead for blood mages, where you can potentially like make it so that a supernatural thing can't get near you. Necrology, you know, the thing that she does for her forensic stuff all the time. And then she does have soul sight, which lets her, you know, basically look at things that perhaps have you know, soul energy or something and detect it even if they would not otherwise be visible.
Alright, do you want to try to use any of those as written? Or do you want to kind of just try to, like, sort of freestyle jazz yourself up some kind of divination?
This is definitely Zenobia freestyle jazz time.
Alright.
Alistair hates freestyle jazz. Sorry, I couldn't help make the reference.
So what would you like me to roll or do or not roll at all?
Okay, I'm going to say I would like both of you to roll Yeah, let's go with Academia Occult to
Yep.
start off.
God damn, Parrot!
What?
Oh, hot damn!
That is
36 on 1d10.
yeah, okay.
Apparently tonight is the night of exploding die.
Okay.
Always catches me so off guard.
So that is 7 for Zenobia,
Yeah.
and with 3d10, mind you, and with 1d10, a 36 from Parrot. Okay.
Keeping in mind, my only kind of relevant spell would be bullet with your name on it.
Fair.
We follow the bullet to the ghost. We know its last name.
Gosh. Alright. So I imagine that even though there's not strictly speaking an organized spiritual practitioner that you studied under, I imagine you had to have at least picked up kind of just like some of the general things going on with, stuff like brujeria. All right. Gosh. You know what? I think I know what it is. You are approaching this similar to how you would approach just whenever you are trying to cast a spell. You first, have to make contact with the spirit in question, with the demon. And similar to that, you're kind of just reaching out, seeing what you can get. And make sure this transferred over properly. Come on now. Oh, come now. Don't be silly, game. You simply must. You must give me this song. I demand it. No,
Just ask one more time.
It's all right. Can I please have the song? Thank you. All right, there we go. So you reach out to the stuff in the bottle. It probably feels a little silly at first. It's not like there's any physical sign of it moving or reacting somehow either. This is just same as it ever was. It's a mental state that you're going to.
Did you just make a Talking Head reference?
No.
I physically held my mouth closed to not continue the line, but go on.
Now, this part differs a little bit. With hucksters, it's a very simple matter of the interaction with the devil it's formatted through the lens of a game. You are challenging them to a game of skill and chance and force of will. And it's often visualized as something like a poker playing dice, any kind of game like that. As you discussed a little bit with your shootist mentor, it's a little different for them. Ultimately, it's the same final result, but you are envisioning the shootout, the quick draw showdown between you and this thing. What do you think, what is the mental landscape that Parrot is going to? Where does her mind have to stroll into in order to call out a devil and challenge them to that kind of shootout? What does that look like?
So probably a circus tent.
Oh, that is excellent.
Completely empty one.
Yep. You are walking in through one of the entertainer's entrance to this massive red and white striped canvas tent. High up on the central pole, supporting the peak of the roof, there is a intense flame-driven spotlight, which the reflective mirror turns down to aim directly at you. And you see another spotlight aim to the opposite side as you walk towards this central point. And you see something that doesn't look like it has any kind of solid form. The thing that you're looking at in your mental shootout, it moves like a flowing liquid that has been restrained into something solid. It's hard to see, but there's little bits. It's some small little metallic objects that are just whizzing around it like it's the eye of a tornado, and this debris is orbiting bits of scree and steel that it's picked up along the way. It moves towards you, not like something that is used to moving, at least not with a body. It moves in stops and starts, and you realize that it's not that you're blinking any more than normal, it's just that this stuttering step is almost like what it looks like when a child plays with a flip book animation. It's not exactly there. It's like it's printed on something and you're just looking at the image, the after image of whatever was making the mark. You get to the middle there, and as you are reaching instinctively towards your holster to complete this ritual, to bring an end to this, you feel a hand on your wrist stop you. You turn and you see the face of the slick-talking, well-dressed muckraker, Reese Phillips, looking at you with an uncharacteristic seriousness in his expression, just quickly and curtly shaking his head. Not like this, kid. Not now. Not here. And you are back in the hotel room. Perhaps a second has passed in actual physical time. And Zenobia and Ambrose.
I was also there.
Zenobia and Ambrose are left kind of staring at you. You were really zoned out there for a second there, bud. You okay? Are you alright? Looked like you saw a ghost.
Parrot coughs and like grabs her chest and her approximation of a yell. Fuck! We gotta talk to that fucking snake again.
Pardon?
I think this is a great time for Scarlet and Ezra to return.
Before we open the door,
You
going to
hear
not
a
think.
very hoarse voice saying "fuck," and then slightly softer again. You can't make it out through the door.
Well, I'd like to come back in. I hope everything's put away.
Oh, sorry, good doctor. It seems your husband wishes to banish you to the depths of the nethers once more.
So much for a night out on the town, I suppose. All
We
right.
will put a little rain check on this. I'm sure I can show you a lovely time. I know that there's
You
certainly
can
things that you could
also-
teach me.
You can also.
You can
like, not
also,
do it.
Scarlet, clearly hear this.
Yeah.
Like, neither of them are making an effort to conceal the conversation.
God damn
They
it.
be
Well, put it-
reminded that sound travels.
I'll put him back in his bag.
You don't
Okay.
have to. This is Ezra. I think it'd be hilarious if Scarlet found out.
Are you sure you wish to divulge this?
No, that was epitome. I know
Yeah,
my
you
voice
said
is-
Ezra.
Ezra does not want
Okay, I'm
Ambrose
putting
to
your
be shown.
husband
I
away.
think it'd be hilarious.
I'm putting your husband away.
Okay.
All right. The cat is back in the bag. The door opens. The posse is reunited.
Well, did
I
you
look
have a
around
little
the
lovely
room.
drink?
A few. They're very
Who are you?
rowdy.
Who are you talking to?
No
It's
one.
irrelevant.
Uh,
I heard three voices, and I see it's just you two.
No, it's only them. Bluff check.
yeah, give me
bluff
that
check.
bluff check.
Hold on, let me find it. Where is it?
Under smarts.
Oh, smarts. I'm looking under mean. That's why. Ah, fuck. Okay.
What do I roll? What's that?
Scrutinize.
Nice. Where's that?
Cognition.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 7 versus Ezra's 11.
Do you want to chip that?
Not particularly.
Okay.
All right. So
This is a fucking keep your secrets moment.
I don't think that Ezra's nearly good enough a liar, even with this, to gaslight you into not knowing that you just heard people talking. But you definitely you know that either this is a very touchy subject to him, or he doesn't know and doesn't like that he doesn't know. But regardless, you get the sense that, oh, maybe I shouldn't press this right now.
I'll drop this just because we got more important things to do, I think.
Oh, thank God. So, we might we started looking into Davis Crenshaw to see if he had anything to do with this, but all we can tell is that the obituaries might be locked up, so we can't tell how he died.
But you do know where that locked up would be,
That is true.
and that is.
I already forgot the name of the
A
newspaper.
reporter. It's the place that Reese Phillips works for,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and where the kids printed all the cursed paper.
I'm sure that's in no way related whatsoever.
Of course. So, how was girls' night?
Well, it was very wonderful right up until we had a bit of a lapse in dedication, and our dear little Perota was about to elucidate upon us the snakes and other reptilian serpents we may be interacting with.
We're talking
So
to snakes now?
I don't know how it works. That's the problem.
I mean,
When
talking
I-
to snakes wouldn't even be the top 10 weirdest things I've ever dealt with.
Those in order are. No. We're not doing that. I know I made this bit what I'm ending it.
when I do the weird shit, magic, whatever, it's like a duel or a game with something that I borrow power from, and I think I saw the thing that tried to take Ezra, but Reese Phillips, I don't know if he interrupted me, like metaphorically or for real, or I saw him.
You saw Reese Phillips?
Yeah, that fucking asshole didn't let me shoot.
Did he say anything to you, or was he simply appearing there like the slimy snake he truly is?
He said
Am I
not
s-
now, not like this.
Am I supposed to be confused, or are you guys going to explain something here?
No, I'm confused too. I don't understand what she's talking about.
So, Reese Phillips spoke to you and said, not now, not like this, and I presume that is when you started with the expletives with the rest of us.
Yeah, I normally when I do magic, I see like a demon, a devil, a nasty. This was it looked like ink.
Did you say it looked like ink?
It looked like the barf. She gestures to the plate of barf.
Zenobia starts, like, excitedly clapping her hands.
Wait a minute,
to
are
the-
those my tools?
Oh,
Not
yes.
important.
We had to requisition them for the scientific process. Don't worry. They've only
let me
been
just-
slightly contaminated.
Okay.
But I
Putting aside
These are big-
violations of personal space and property, let me just make sure I'm following. You were having a duel in your mind magic place with a ink monster, and then a snake guy told you not right now?
he's not a snake guy, he's an asshole.
He's a metaphorical snake.
But
Okay.
I don't think that the ghost whatever, I don't think it's in control of itself. It felt weird.
Interesting.
Like it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be here. It was wrong.
I mean, this whole thing sounds wrong.
Oh, yes, but there's a difference between a particular entity acting with intent versus rather being wielded per se by some kind of broadsword or other, espada.
Demons want to play
Scarlet
games.
just clenches her jaw a little bit.
This thing didn't. I don't know what it wanted.
Hold on. I want to see if he notices this. Cognition. He does not notice the jaw. Okay.
Well, I do think that is incredibly educational, especially as it does work in tandem with a bit of a theory I've been developing ever since our dear Ezra so triumphantly evacuated their contents upon the local dwellings.
Thanks.
Zenobia will now begin assembling a Pepe Sylvia conspiracy board to show
Excellent.
everyone. So, I have a number of theories, and I am going to help draw them together. And I believe at the end of this, we will arrive at the true. What is that sentence called? Damn, I'm too far out from college. I don't remember what the sentence is. We will arrive at our thesis statement about what all of this is deriving towards. And I will at least give you the ending first, and I think it will draw us to the St. Louis Reporter. I think that is where all signs point. However, the indicators are a bit more nuanced than that. She kind of adjusts her glasses.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Now, we have a couple of things that we've been able to conclude. One is that there is clearly a connection between the papers that our dear little newspaper boy created and the deaths. They have at least some sort of connection, as we have seen from the various attempts at the, we'll call it the ink entity to possess each one of us, with notably only failing against the weakest of wills. But we have a clear point of connection there. We addition, what are newspapers printed with? Ink. Exactly. And so, when I happened to experience the apparition trying to come over me, I felt like I was drowning in a very viscous black liquid. This could have been metaphorical for several things, such as just being underwater in a sufficiently cold environment, but I won't bore you with the other particularities of that. But you know what else is a very thick black liquid, and that is quite viscous, especially as we have just discovered here tonight, which is, of course, ink, the very thing you print on newspapers for all of you taking notes. Additionally, we happen to have been able to examine the very contents of our dear little guinea pig's intestines, and we have discovered that amidst, of course, a minor content of salt and legume, in addition to a bit of bile, that the fluid itself does have connection to. What was that word? It has 3 letters. I-N-K, ink, exactly. Yes, so it is clearly something that is spiritually connected with the very ink that we once again see connected to the newspapers, once again printed at the St. Louis Reporter. Now, we have this being that our dear Perota saw within the depths of her confines of her psyche, which appears to be a bit of an uncontrolled entity tied once again to ink. Now, if I happen to put this together, it might be perhaps that the creation of these papers has at least distilled down the perhaps tortured or, for whatever reason, bound spirit of a Mr. Crenshaw, who I'm sure, if we were to find his death records, would connect with either a killing that occurred at the St. Louis Reporter or particularly drowning in a vat of ink, which could perhaps leave his sole imprint and very spiritual essence upon the facility itself, as well as the machinery in tandem, which would allow it to be distilled down into papers, which could then have that very angered, vengeful spirit lash out upon any unsuspecting users. The Crenshaw connection, of course, is simply the vessel, the vassal, the lens from which his entity is able to affect the world, because we have this ghost story of avaricious assailants assaulting these people when they acquire the papers. Therefore, there is at least somewhat of a spiritual justification and a perhaps a magical symbiosis an echoing effect, reflection, if you will, that allows the apparition to vent its frustration. But with the addition of the uncontrolled nature that our dear Perota was experiencing, then perhaps it is not truly Mr. Crenshaw acting of his own volition, but rather that the vindictive nature of this particularly vengeful visage is being wielded by someone else, another unknown assailant that is lurking, that is awareness of these trappings and goings, and for whatever
Snake Man.
reason, which I would say is probably more than a little obvious at this point, our dear Mr. Phillips, the snake who has yet to truly shed the skin of truth in our presence, is aware of this and has probably some sort of connection to it, if he may have been the one who perhaps printed this paper, or the paper may have been a byproduct of Mr. Crenshaw's possession, which is why our dear spiritualist that we were associated with, Miss Swan, was able to receive it the morning of the first killing itself. She does have a relationship with Mr. Phillips, so it does make sense that perhaps he was the one who forwarded to her, and it was created as a side effect of the overall magical connection. So I believe at the end of the day, Mr. Crenshaw was in fact killed at the reporter, or as a part of his performance as a member of the staff there, which is why we have ink as the murder weapon. Ink is the particular spiritual form, and that ink will be the solution to this problem. Is everyone paying attention?
Can
Seems pretty black and white to
Obsidia get
me.
a chip for that, please?
Obsidia, everyone.
Can I please? I'm not the GM, but can Obsidia get a chip for that role playing, please?
That was fantastic. Yes, absolutely.
I like the part where they kept asking questions but didn't wait for answers.
Just
Very on brand.
a wonderful little stream of consciousness.
But yeah,
I think I follow.
well, it seemed pretty black and white to me.
And the idea of this being some sort of monster seems ridiculous, but at this point, I don't know what else to say. I'm going to have to talk to Main Tai, aren't I? Going into Bo instead of... Alright. I'm going to have to talk to him, aren't I? Between all of us, I'm the one that most is easily able to talk to people. Let alone the fact that having a news story about the Nut King might be a boon for his papers. If I can
And if that
distract
doesn't
him...
work, I can strangle him.
No objection here.
Let's not get wanted for murder. Preferably.
You can strangle people without killing them, Ezra.
I do believe that everything is
Attempted
legal
murder is
until
still a
one is
crime.
caught.
You aren't helping your case. So our next... We could use me as a diversion to get into the records, or at least get into the paper to see, one, the death records of Mr. Crenshaw, or two, this ink being that may so well exist. Why is this all happening now?
I mean, that fucking reporter knows what happened.
Yes, but it's also been established that our dear Mr. Phillips is, for one thing, a spiritual entity in at least one way, shape, or form, and that, two, he requires quid pro quo for everything. Perhaps his interrupting your vision might be enough of compensation for you to extract this information from him.
If the Nut King doesn't do it, that might work. Visions.
I mean, do you think he's causing this or just observing it?
I don't believe Mr. Phillips is necessarily causing this. The only reason I say that is because he has a somewhat amicable relationship with Miss Swan, and if he was truly at the center of this particularly diabolical design, he wouldn't have tried to intercede on our behalf to assist us in our investigation.
Unless there was something in it for him.
Of course, but I think trying to assist us in, discovering he's at the center of this web of lies would be, well, a perhaps level of Machiavellian that I may have missed a chapter.
I don't think he did it, but he definitely could have fucking told us more information about it. It felt like he was protecting that thing.
I find the motivations of those who deal with occult things aren't always straightforward.
Well,
Little blinking stares
You hear
from
Ezra
Parrot and
just-
Zenobia.
Just screaming into his hands, muffled and softly, just
Zenobia is entirely oblivious to these accusations and goes, well,
Not an
I can
accusation, it was a general observance.
Well, I can say at minimum that if this is occurring, Mr. Phillips is certainly acting in his own best interest, but there are certainly forces that are facilitating at least the discovery of whatever malign influence is at the core of this. And all signs point to the reporter, both in a literal and in a metaphorical sense.
I'm not denying that it's pointing to him. It's just
Did Curtis know this snake man? Whose name I keep trying to plank on, even though everyone keeps saying
Reese
it?
Phillips.
Reese.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe we ever asked about it. I don't believe the young apprentice ever mentioned their connection, but if they work at the same printery, then I would imagine he's at least made, passes to each other. No, now that I think about it, actually he did know of Mr. Phillips because we asked him to make sure that Mr. Phillips did not draw his attention to some of these things that we had identified earlier in our investigation.
Then the question at that point is, did he have anything to do with the early printing of the story from Curtis?
It is difficult to say for certain at this point. I would assert that he was aware of the printing and facilitated it arriving at Miss Swan's residence. But I don't believe we have enough information to corroborate whether or not he was the one who printed it. For if he did, that would also indicate that he had information about the murder's occurrence and felt the best way to convey this was an early edition of the newspaper rather than telling someone.
where's my bag?
Well, thankfully, Parrot brought it with us.
No, just where is it in the room?
I don't know.
No,
On a
you
bed.
Okay, that's fine. He grabs the bag.
Putting your bag back together.
Well, no, the bowling ball bag. The other stuff he's less worried about right now.
Okay.
You understand how this sounds like absolute madness, right?
Was that to me or the bag?
To everyone.
No, I believe I did outline it quite clearly. Would you like me to do it again?
No.
Out of character, yes. In character, no.
I could not do that again. It would be a different version.
Your points make sense, but your thesis does not.
I mean,
Because you're working under incorrect assumptions.
vengeful spirit connected to ink, killing with ink, connected to a printing of a paper with ink. I mean, all adds up to me. I don't get all the mystical aspects, but
Look, things used to make sense, and then I met you, freak.
What made sense about your life before you met us, Ezra?
Yes, clearly
Let's
we
be
were the
fucking honest
deviations.
here.
To be fair, that happened shortly before I met you.
Our shit's marginally weirder than yours.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
not that much of a gap anymore, buddy.
we don't get to pick the hands we're dealt. We just gotta play them. Adjust uncomfortably.
Things just don't make sense anymore.
Oh, that's a shame.
Is that in character
No,
or
that's
out of
out of
character?
character.
Okay. Because, like, okay, is the bad talking now?
Well, while you're having your mid-arcana crisis, I believe we have a clear plan of action for tomorrow.
So,
Shoot
who's
Snake
the one
Man?
that's going to be distracting him while
Or
we...
do we ask him questions first?
I think that Perota should definitely be speaking to him, since they at least have some kind of spiritual rapport with each other. I'm so sorry. She puts her hand on Parrot's shoulder.
Should I be accompanying Parrot? Because if that doesn't work, which there is a chance that it won't, because this is hoodoo, he's talking with his hands very wildly at this point. The bag going up and down. Then at the very least we have a local celebrity.
We can both go.
Yeah, exactly.
See the problem with that,
I'm
but
slipping into my other character.
I
oh
would
yes,
like
I'm
to
sure
say
everyone
though,
will be thrilled to see the Nut King again.
I would like to say hoodoo is a different arcane principle and practice.
Not my point.
Oh, that does remind me. Pulls out $6, splits it, hands it over to
Oh,
Ezra.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Zenobia will take $1 of that. She goes, "It was for the additional meals I had to I had to ascertain while we were engaging in scientific discovery."
Raises eyebrow. I guess when you're hungry, you're hungry.
Yeah.
all right.
I just want things to make sense again.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right.
Look, you don't need to be told there's monsters. Everyone knows there's monsters.
There wasn't
What you need to be
before.
told is that monsters can be dealt with.
I think we need, out of character, I think we need to get him past the needs to be told there's monsters step first.
Yeah, he's still a little bit freaked about that.
We'll
I'm
just have a
quoting
boss
something
fight. It'll
in
be
a
fine.
loose
Yep.
way that I don't know has actually been written yet.
Honestly, like, out of character, I think a boss fight is what he needs. But until that point,
A boss
He's
fight will
still-
fix him. Or break him. One of them.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say for what's her name? Zenobia is going to hand Parrot the blood vial that Miss Swan gave her. Go. This should at least assist you in being somewhat protected from Mr. Phillips' particular supernatural proclivities.
I got the gun.
Well, I'm sure that could be an excellent, shall we say, backup solution.
yes, let's put murder as the backup solution.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. if he is truly a supernatural being, then, well, murder is more of a very loosely applied term.
I try not to take violence off the table of my options.
We'll hope that I saw him metaphorically and
In-
plan for that not being the case.
Excellent. This should at least provide you some protection. I'm assuming, based on our talk with Miss Swan, that he has some ability to enter into pacts of quid pro quo nature, and a failure to live up to one's pact allows him to perhaps, scry through your memories and thoughts to perhaps ascertain the information he was looking for in the first place. I can assure you at least he is not a fey entity, according to Miss Swan. But perhaps carrying this on your person will give you some advantage in that particular pact process, or perhaps screen you entirely. It certainly will be an excellent and enlightening journey.
Parrot shrugs and just puts it in a shirt pocket.
That works. All right. Is there anything else y'all are doing tonight?
Screaming into my pillow, wondering what the state of the world is, questioning my position and everything. The usual.
Fair.
If I recall correctly, Miss Swan had arranged that we were going to see was it Caroline or Charlotte Caroline, I think. Caroline tomorrow in jail.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're still welcome to follow through with that.
yeah. So I would be fine doing that if you two want to confront Mr. Phillips yourselves. Scarlett can come with me if she wants, or she could go to the Phillips crew. Either way.
Okay.
I'm
Or
kind
we
of
could do
the
both.
opinion none of us should be by ourselves right now.
Yeah, we could do both. One in the morning, one in the afternoon.
True.
Up to you.
Mhm.
I feel like I feel like I draw more attention for the more police oriented part of it, going to the reporter thing, than at least if I'm making just a beeline with the coroner, and then going to talk to uh, Caroline. Because my thought is, as I said earlier, if I could talk to the coroner, drop in the Burroughs rep and stuff, I could perhaps at least get him to acknowledge us as being loosely affiliated with things, which would screen us from the downside of the cops.
I do like that idea.
Since presumably, when we go to see Caroline, she is in a police station full of police.
That's a good
I feel
assumption.
I feel like it might be good to get that covered first. Like we could be freelancers, and that's how we could work with the lawyer's office as well as the coroner's office to do the grunt work kind of thing. But that's my idea.
Just to establish firmly, I would like before next session a concrete idea of the rooming arrangement.
I have my own room, and I believe Ezra has his own room.
Yes.
All right. And the others?
I mean, technically, I showed up separately, so I assume I would have my own room.
Yeah, you did have your own room because we were in it when the guy got murdered.
You don't say.
Oh, yes.
Because you were in a different hotel than us.
Yes, I misspoke earlier. Let me correct that. The Green Lane Inn, that is the one that Scarlett is staying at. The rest of the group is currently at, let's scroll back up here. Come on now. A different hotel, I'll just say for now. I'm gonna need to find the specifics, but yes.
I do appreciate in my notes, I did annotate when we first met Curtis Dees, I put nuts after his name.
Yeah.
Maloney boarding house. There we go. All right. Oh gosh. Well, we're already running a little over time. Don't think
We started late, so
that's true, I suppose.
I do want to just like check with Urza, just make sure they're going to be okay because they're kind of freaking out on us.
What do you think?
oh, don't worry, he does this all the time.
You've known me for how many days?
And it's happened every single one of them.
I just seemed a little more stressed today for some reason. Just are you? Do you want to be alone, or would you rather?
I don't know. If you did anything to him, I swear to God, and that's directed to Obsidia, Zenobia.
I was like, what did I do?
Huh? Who? What?
And he storms out without answering.
I didn't actually hear what you said.
He said, if you did anything to him, I swear to God. And storms out.
Zenobia's gonna look
Who?
at Parrot. Melodramatic much.
Doesn't believe in ghosts, but he believes in God.
Okay.
How deliciously absurd.
He was raised Catholic. He can't help it.
Okay. So wait. Okay. So they're the only male member of the party, right? Or posse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That you know of.
So I'll just ask Parrot and blank Zenobia. Yeah, that should be the easiest to remember name here. Do you have another member that I haven't been introduced to yet?
Oh, it's probably August. You don't want to meet August.
August? Is that who you were talking to?
I try not to.
August does technically have another room. He was briefly hanging out with y'all earlier, but he seemed to be going off to look into something on his own. Don't worry about it.
But yes, August is a male member who sometimes is around us and is constantly a source of frustration. He is notably useful at the best of times, even if he proceeds to wander the streets with his accursed hellhound.
Cut back to one arc ago when he is the sole reason Zenobia was not just entirely thrown off of a speeding train.
Yep.
It just cuts to August eating his dinner and he sneezes.
Yeah, true anime
Okay.
style.
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear hellhound.
It's 50% literal, 50% metaphorical. I don't particularly care for most animals.
Dog slander.
Zenobia
Abby.
would go so far as to say Abby is a bad dog.
Abby is an Irish wolfhound, and she's a very good girl. You will not slander her in my presence.
You're not the one who gets that fiend's tongue all over them.
Oh, I'm sorry the dog likes you. That must be so horrible.
Okay, we're just talking about a dog.
It's not just a dog.
Now who's overreacting?
Yeah, she's not just a dog. She's a service animal. She works harder than you do.
How dare you? I would like to see that accursed beast try to deliver nearly as prescient as a presentation about the very workings of malign influences in the city.
I love Zenobia.
Scarlet is just like, I'm clearly missing out on some big piece of information here, and
It's
I'm
the
not sure
advantage of
I want to.
Zenobia. Everything is like a piece of information that is missing when she talks.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to create more questions than I'm ever going to answer, and you just have to deal with it.
You never have to explain everything if you just make things increasingly more complicated.
Words to live by.
I do
Did that
think.
answer your question as to who they were talking to?
Nope.
Do you want to press them?
Scarlet is like metaphorically and possibly literally getting a headache over trying to ask simple questions.
I know that Zenobia will not talk about Ambrose without Ezra opening it up, or Ambrose, arguably. She honestly puts more credence in Ambrose than she does Ezra. So
That's fair, considering Ambrose is a bit more open-minded.
So
Let me roll a role-playing die real quick.
you haven't killed a boss with us yet, Scarlet, so you don't get to get the circle of magic trust yet.
Okay. Ezra comes back. Role-playing dice. He feels guilty about yelling at you.
No.
Look, I'm sorry. You know this is a lot for me to take in. I didn't mean to raise my voice at you. You know this is just a lot. And you understand that, right?
to clarify, are they talking to
Zenobia
Zenobia?
primarily.
Okay.
And he's back with the bag too.
What? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Look, I'm sorry for raising my voice at you. This is just a lot to take in, and you understand that.
Oh, I just assumed that's how you speak when you're panicking.
I mean, yes, I am panicking.
I'll ask again. Do you think you need some company tonight? Someone to talk to?
I'm fine. He grips the bag a little tighter.
Zenobia will look at him just like, roll her eyes and go, I assure you, I was on my best behavior when I was engaging in the very act of Eureka.
Look, I better get back to my room at the was the green something? I really should write some of this stuff down.
It was the Green Lane. Yes, the Green Lane Inn.
We still have some time. We can have dinner together at the very least.
I'm more concerned about having to deal with ruffians and/or police.
You want me to walk you back?
That shouldn't be necessary. But thank you for
Well,
the
if
offer.
you're worried about ruffians.
No, I'm worried about what I'll have to do to the ruffians.
Let me come with you so we don't have to deal with ruffians to begin with. How about that?
Size, checks gun. Okay.
Right? Okay, yeah, so you're headed back to the Green Lane. It's not as many people out, so. You do get recognized on the way. I'm so
I do.
sorry.
It's okay.
How do you deal with it?
He acknowledges them but continues with the walking.
You continue on to the cheering shouts of Nut King. Unfortunately, someone continues to recognize you as you go here. So you're not strictly in danger, but it is pretty annoying as you go there. I love that you picked this edge for a character that is only going to think of this as a hindrance.
I know. That was part of the plan of this. It was fun.
You
I
know,
like
I'm
getting into
I'm
it.
used to getting the most attention wandering around.
Well, now you don't have to worry about
Relief,
ruffians,
actually, I
now do you?
suppose.
Now you don't have to worry about ruffians. Look, I don't know how much you believe about all this. He's talking with his hands and waving them. Again, the bag is in one of his hands, so like it's moving around and bumping. Uh, I don't know how much you believe in all of this mumbo jumbo,
Looks down at self.
ink,
Enough.
ink monster.
Enough.
Enough. Why? Why do you believe it?
They take off their hat and pull back their hair, and you
Okay.
just see a metal plate across their head.
That's not mumbo jumbo. That's what I hear they're doing in Utah.
Well, there may have been a brief period where I wasn't alive. Technically. Maybe.
We're saying this in your room, right?
Well, I wouldn't say it where a bunch of strangers could hear it, so...
Okay, perfect. Okay, just making sure.
I mean, you were talking about an ink demon, so presumably we're someplace with a reasonable level of privacy.
No, that can't be. The dead are dead. dead
I'm
don't-
not going to pretend I understand. I know what I was told, and found out. I mean, you're the scientist here.
Yes, but I'm not a biologist. I'm not a doctor.
Well, the most I can really tell you is they tinkered with my brain.
This at least makes a little bit more sense. I can at least rationalize this.
If you only knew the half of it. Put that back on.
If you only knew the half of it, on my end too.
It's like watching two people trying to compete to have the biggest dark secret.
Yeah. You don't understand my pain.
No one knows the trouble I've seen.
All right. So is that how you leave for the night?
He's thinking. I'm thinking about what to say. There's a long pregnant pause. All right. Medical science has done wonders. I can at least haha Obsidia. I can at least rationalize that. It's something. Was it your husband? Did it have to do with that?
It's really quiet.
I'm going to take that as a touchy subject. I'm sorry. As hold on. Time to roll a thing. Time to roll a thing.
You know, you can just do something.
I know, but I like it helps with my role playing choices. 5 left. As someone who's lost their husband too, it's touchy, to say the least. Are you going to be okay here, or do you want a room closer to us?
Given the nature of our work, and probably would be wise to move rooms.
All right, I'll pay for it. It's fine. The least I can do for the singing. That wasn't added in with your augments, was it?
Sorry, what was the?
That what the voice? It wasn't something that was just added in with the augments, was it?
You're singing.
Yeah.
Feels throat. Would it be weird if I said I have no idea?
Clearly, whatever happened to you happened while you weren't conscious, so that's fair. That's a fair answer. All right, grab your things. I'll pay for your room.
That's not necessary, but that's
No.
sweet of you.
It's the least I can do. I'm the one that's touching buttons.
All right, so after walking all this way, you're now both
Yeah.
walking all the way back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, this is what happens when you're straight and gay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Check Discord.
I don't think that he is necessarily going to say anything without your consent.
Okay. Giving Ezra more power than he feels comfortable with. Yay!
Leaving the bottoms in charge. Oh no.
Whatever will we do? All right. So he gets Scarlet her own room. How much is that a night again? Let me adjust my sheet.
Why can't Scarlet pay for their own room?
Because he offered. He's the one that
See.
brought up her husband and made her shut down.
This is a boarding house, so that is $1.50.
Okay.
I assume that's $1.50 a night.
That's probably a night.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to grab something to eat before I head to bed. I'm sorry if I offended.
No, not offended. It's complicated. But I think I should be able to trust you guys, but now's not the time.
I'll be honest, I've only met these two recently.
Well,
I have reasons where I am forced to trust him at this point.
What a
Even
ringing
so far,
endorsement.
Nice.
they have not betrayed it. So there is that. Not the best endorsement I know, but
I mean, it's something.
it's something, that's for sure. Get some sleep. Wait, do you sleep with those? I have questions that I feel would be rude to ask.
I sleep. I'm not inhuman.
Well, I didn't mean to imply you were inhuman. Non-humans sleep too. But if you were dead, again, a lot of questions that are
Like I said,
not polite to ask.
from what I was told, gloated over probably would be more accurate. I was technically dead. Whatever that means.
That has a lot of weight to it. I'll be honest. Technically dead. All right. Well, I'll be eating in my room if you need me. Just knock before coming in.
Noted.
And he leaves.
I'll
Alright.
probably do they have like room service these days? I assume they have something.
It's an 1870s boarding house.
I mean, it's a boarding house, so you're like welcome to go down and get food. I'm
That's
gonna
what
assume
Ezra's
that like
doing.
anyone who like takes up utensils or such stuff, it's just like it's gonna be taken back down by the maid.
Probably should eat something too.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, both of us go down to get food. I'm surprised that Zenobia hasn't.
I ate when I was doing science.
Yeah,
We had to eat.
they were having a lovely evening together.
You specifically even addressed about how Ambrose hadn't had a chance to eat today after our early meal. So I fed him by hand.
That is true.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm sure you would know that if you actually talked to him.
Oh.
I did. Now hold on there.
All
There was
right.
another conversation that happened.
All right. So, before we get too lost in the sauce, before the gays start fighting again, question.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have things that they would like to establish that they are doing before I start narratively wrapping up tonight?
Now just more of my my spell reading so I can keep chalking down time.
Okay. Anything for you, Parrot?
No?
All right. Then so we have the scene of them going down, and this nice scene to kind of wind down with getting dinner down there, and it's a surprisingly restful sleep, considering everything that happened up till that point. And then it's morning again before you even really have much a chance to think too much about it. So, since y'all are now basically in neighboring rooms, who's the first to wake up?
I have a waking up early perk.
Yeah, the light sleeper one, I think.
Yeah.
Nice cheery waking up music.
Oh no, a morning person.
All right. Yeah. We have time to kill with a little vamping. What's Parrot's first thing that she does in the morning? Let's find that out.
She gets up and scuttles to the bathroom to like skincare, toss her like makeup on and all that shit.
Good to know. I love the verb choice. A+ there. Who do we think would be next?
I
Anyone
don't know
else
how much
feel
our
like?
cyborg sleeps in.
Oh.
Zenobia would be fashionably late in the morning.
I think Ezra would be next.
All right, hold the thought. So, would it be Zenobia or would it be Scarlet after that?
I can see Scarlet getting up at a relatively early time, but has to take a moment to excuse the pun per se, but put themselves together.
But
Zenobia has to get her full goth prib going, so that takes a bit.
Alright.
Yeah. And special care to the leg, which I don't think I've revealed yet.
no, you haven't.
Alright, and Zenobia, of course, you do eventually rouse from your deep slumber of dark dreamings and schemings. What's your first thing in the morning thing to do?
The first thing in the morning would be to she will reflexively kind of arrange out her magic utensils first, her arcane tome and her ritual dagger, and just kind of run her fingers along them, reestablishing her bond in her mind before she begins her morning, cleaning, brushing, makeup, etc.
Alright. Alright, so there, as you're all doing this, there's a knock that goes down the hall. The breakfast service will be running for the next hour, and there's these little... You probably would have noticed some coming in, but they have these little, not like newsletters or newspapers, but just like little notes that they slip under the door for like, okay, here is your tab so far. If there's anything important that they need you to know, like if when to expect housekeeping coming through, that sort of thing. Ezra, do you take a
Yeah.
look at your little handwritten notice?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, so it slid right under the door to your room, room 6 there.
Don't make me regret this.
So you're reading through it. Looks like, according to the almanac, lovely day ahead. So you've got some nice weather to look forwards to. The maids are going to be a little delayed today, so room cleaning service is going to start around 1 p.m. Today it looks like they're expecting biscuits and gravy as the main offering for breakfast. And then there's another little note. apologies. The management of the Maloney house extends its deepest apologies for any noise or disruption expected today. After the crime scene cleanup department comes through, everything will be going back to ordinary operation just
Wait,
as
what?
soon as they take care of the madman in room 6 who murdered the neighboring room's occupant. Ezra,
Oh no.
you can't move your hands anymore.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no.
And that's where we'll end this week.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my.
Right.
Oh no.
Congratulations!
sinking
You get to
feeling
be
of
a
like-
boss! Aren't you excited?
I had a sinking feeling.
And yet you did it anyway. And I thank
Because
you
it's
so
in
much for that.
character.
I thank you so much for that. And the management does apologize. Don't worry. The murders, while distressing, will not impact the service of the Mulaney house. So,
Who am I next to?
all of your friends.
Well, yes, but the one next door, that's a specific one.
Oh, it might start with a specific one, but don't worry. Anywho, I think this is a good time to wrap up. Thank you all very much for swinging by for another episode of Deadlands Wayward Guns. I deeply, truly hope that everyone enjoyed themselves. We're going to go in reverse order here, starting off with our guest player, Tyrus.
Sorry, core memory dump. What am I supposed to say?
you
Just like a reminder of who you are. If there's a place that people can see more of you, if there's anything you want to promote or plug, even if you don't have any projects, you can do like what Epitome does and still just promote whatever you feel like.
Well, recently, I'm not going to get into the details, heard a very alarming story about the tragedy of poor mental health in America, so just take care of yourself.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Next, the player behind our Blood Mage Obsidia.
Hello, I am Obsidia. I play Zenobia. You got to listen to my Pepe Sylvia rant about monsters today. I
That
hope
was
you
all
enjoyed it.
improvised, wasn't it?
Yes. I just have been taking various notes
Incredible.
of things that I thought about Ink Monster and Ink connections
Incredible.
during this adventure. So I just busted them all out. So yeah, I currently don't stream. I will probably start streaming again in June for Pride Month. I also play another goth sorceress who is very different than Zenobia on Mondays, where we are at a D&D Curse of Strahd campaign that Sif VTuber runs. If you want to go check out our first recording of our session 0, it's right there in that link. We just did the second session of it on Monday, so hopefully that'll be up later this week. And it should be fun. A lot of great players there too. We're all very silly, and that party is also very gay.
Now, I know you're not the writer of this campaign, so you obviously can't guarantee it, but am I more, less, or equally as likely to get too sad listening to this one to be able to enjoy it?
Well, the start is overall very, very light. But we have all been talking about our trauma arcs
Oh,
and
no.
potential corruption arcs. We all made characters who have big emotional baggage, except for Yulia, who's playing a big half-orc himbo paladin.
He's just happy to be here.
He's just happy to be there. He brings the titties. So It's up to you. It's Curse of Strahd, and we have decided to be potentially very sad and very gay. So,
All right. And then we have behind our shootist is the player Hemlock.
Hello. I have been Hemlock, and Parrot. I don't have too much going on. Like planned. I'm starting a meme speedrun soon where I see how quickly I can get to the uncomfortable chair soft lock in Disco Elysium. And we're starting routing for that soon, which I'm quite excited
Oh
about.
my god.
if you
I
have-
can't wait to see that.
If
I
you have
love that some
skills bad
games just
enough-
have really hilariously weird speedrun categories like that.
Oh, it doesn't exist yet. That's the fun part. I get to make the
Nice.
world record, and then immediately, the second I upload it, someone will go, I can do that 15 times faster.
Oh,
Hey.
that's so good.
But for 1 millisecond, I will have the worst speedrun in the world, and it'll be great.
Oh man.
I mean, I think low percent Twilight Princess still holds that, but okay.
I'm gonna
Well,
have
Low
to
percent Disco Elysium,
I'm gonna
you
have
die
to
by looking at a
learn.
ceiling fan.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to learn some of those
The less we talk about that, the better.
because I would love to try and have my gay percent speed run of Disco Elysium one of these days.
Fuck yeah.
Anywho. And last but not least for our players, behind the mousy little mad scientist, Epitome.
Hi, I'm Epitome. I play Ezra, who is apparently going to go on a murderous rampage. Please tune
yay!
in next time to see how I get out of this alive. Like I said, this is where I normally do mini PSAs. Big thing now, sun is out, summertime, use sunscreen, skin cancer isn't a joke. Please do not give yourself skin cancer. Please use sunscreen.
Also, as an aside, because I learned this recently, if you're getting laser hair removal on your face, if you're perhaps a trans woman, you should be wearing sunscreen on your face. And
This is useful information to me.
you should also be wearing sunscreen on your face as just a daily thing for being a girl. It's very helpful for A, protecting your face, but B, also preventing hyperpigmentation that can occur if you've gotten laser done. Because your skin is super ready for all those sweet sun rays to permanently discolor it. So, just keep that in mind. Protect yourself. Keep your
hyperpigmentation on my feet.
sexy girl going.
I can confirm this
Very
as someone who
true.
has helped someone go through laser hair removal.
That's me. All right. Speaking of me, hi, I'm me. I'm Beatrix Bunny, and I played all of the characters and the narrator that weren't these fine, fantastic folk. I stream. Y'all already found that. The next stream is going to be Friday at 12 p.m. EST. We're going back to the old ways as Auntie Griselda. So if you want to see a angry, vaguely New Yorker goblin auntie, just absolutely tear ass through Yakuza Kiwami 2, swing by. I hope to see you there. Now then, I think it's about time I start looking for a raid target. If any of my players has suggestions, I'm willing to listen to those. And while I'm doing this, if I could get someone to give me the socials command. Thank you.
Beat me to it.
You should take it as a catchphrase. You can't spell Griselda without Riz.
Yeah, that's true. God,
I mean,
that
I
is
just call
true.
them Monty Grizz, so.
So the first link there is my card. If you would like to see all the places that I'm doing stuff, no matter how much or how little I'm actually doing with that stuff, check it out. It's also got
Riz.
my commission info
Goblin-
if you're
Goblin Riz.
interested in helping me continue to be able to afford to do things, because that's nice. Then there's the Discord. I'm pretty much always on there. If you want to hang out, I would love to hang out and get to know y'all too. Movie night this week at 8 p.m. EST Sunday is going to be Paprika, one of my favorite anime movies. Hope to see you there for that. Twitter, post schedules, artwork, and in general things that I just kind of feel like posting when I want to post them. It's a blog, basically. It's nothing special. Y'all know how it is. And finally, YouTube, where all of the VODs go to live when I remember, hey, I should really freaking post my VODs somewhere. I keep losing these things. This is a disgrace, really. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm looking here, and it doesn't look like anyone on my list is doing any tabletop stuff.
The only one I can recommend is Cube Melon, who's doing art right now, but her stream is doing pretty well.
All right, well, one of the prospective players in another campaign that I'm working on, it's in the works here, is streaming right now. She's playing something called Dino Punk, which has been described by her here as Cyberpunk meets Jurassic Park.
I'm sold.
So
So
we'll be raiding in over there. Before that, though, let me say to y'all, since this will be the end of the YouTube VOD, until I see you again, I hope all your trails are happy. Remember, be rootin', be tootin', by God, be shootin', but most of all, cowpokes, be kind. Happy trails.